What's going on, guys? This is John Zakari, and as many of you know, this has been a pretty rough week for Nintendo. From a dramatic reduction in their Wii U sales estimations, to a stock price drop which has since stabilized, and rumors that a new console may already be in the works. With these news developments, I'm hearing a lot of discussion about how the Wii U has already failed. While that's certainly not the case, at least in my opinion, things aren't exactly all sunshine and rainbows either. So today, I wanted to put the situation in perspective. To understand the current state of the Wii U, one has to also understand the journey it's been on. So today, I want to give a sort of history lesson to tell the story of the Wii U's past, present, and potential future, focusing on the high as well as many low points it's had so far. Let's start at E3 2011, when Nintendo officially announced the Wii U.
Hey, it's time to watch some baseball.
The world's first look at what this console could do was actually in the form of this concept trailer. In it, the main focus was the new gamepad. When the actual system was in frame, it was always tucked away in the background. Add to that the fact that this new gamepad was seen being used with current Wii peripherals, like the Wiimote and the balance board, and it's easy to see why even people working in the gaming industry at the time thought this may just be a new controller for the Wii. This should have immediately been a big red flag for Nintendo, and they should have quickly brought the new system to the forefront to counteract this confusion. Instead, they continued to largely promote the gamepad, which resulted in consumers getting messages like this.
Wii U! This is the new thing. This is gonna be this is the new system. You add it to your Wii, or you don't even need to use the Wii. Do you need to use the Wii? You could just use it on your own, but you can also use it with the Wii. It's like a handheld, weird device, and you can like flip things from the thing to your TV set.
A year after the Wii U reveal, Nintendo decided to reintroduce the system at E3 2012. This time there was more emphasis on the fact that this was going to be a new system, but the conference as a whole was pretty lackluster. Many of the third-party games being shown were already available for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and there weren't many first-party games that really wowed the audience. Sure, it was awesome to get a glimpse at a new Pikmin, as well as Mario's first HD adventure, and personally, as a big survival horror fan, I was extremely excited about Zombie U. But Nintendo just didn't bring enough to get everyone pumped. Not to mention the fact that the Nintendo Land fireworks display ending was easily one of the lamest conference endings in E3 history. The following November, the Wii U launched, with a games lineup that I honestly thought was okay. A lot of people criticized it, but for a start, I thought it was solid. Nintendo fans got some great third-party games that they had been missing out on. For the first time since the N64, a Nintendo home console was launching with a Mario game, and as someone who has played a ton of survival horror games, Zombie U was a nice addition to the genre. Once available to the masses, the Wii's successor wouldn't find the sales Nintendo had hoped. If you remember, when the original Wii launched, it consistently sold out for months. For the Wii U, sure they were tough to find on launch day, but within weeks, they were available everywhere. So why were things so different for the Wii U? Well, a major part of the Wii's success came from casual gamers, adults and families with young children. A large majority of these consumers probably aren't interested in buying a new console, and those who are probably misinformed about it. Kids who ask their parents for a Wii U were often given the response of, "We already have a Wii." Many people went out and bought Wii U games, figuring they still worked on the original Wii system. And today, many consumers are still similarly misinformed. To add to the troubles of the Wii U, the system quickly encountered a game drought between the early months and summer of 2013. Now, consumers were told that Rayman Legends would be released as a timed exclusive for the system in February 2013, but most likely due to the poor sales of Zombie U, Ubisoft held on to the title to release it as a multi-platform game, forcing Wii U owners, some who bought the console specifically for the early Rayman release, to wait until September to get their hands on it when everyone else could. To be fair, Ubisoft did try to patch things up with Wii U owners by giving them exclusive challenge levels that they could access prior to the game's release, and the game did end up selling well on the Wii U. The Rayman debacle was only one instance in a trend of third-party developers lacking support for the Wii U. Electronic Arts, one of the biggest third-party developers around, almost seemed to entirely dismiss the system early on. And many third-party games that are released for the system often lack content in comparison to their PlayStation and Xbox counterparts. For instance, Injustice Gods Among Us, the DC Comics fighting game, saw huge delays in DLC releases for the Wii U, and more recently, Batman Arkham Origins had its multiplayer mode completely removed from the Wii U version. It seems the message to the consumer is, if you want the complete version of our game, don't buy it on Wii U. And if you look at how many of these games are performing on the Wii U, this notion probably won't come as much of a surprise. With numbers coming in like Ubisoft reportedly selling less than 2% of their copies of Splinter Cell Blacklist on Wii U, it doesn't make much sense for developers to give the Wii U versions of their games the same level of attention as other versions. Now, I'm not saying all third-party devs are abandoning the Wii U, as there are some really good Wii U ports, but the trend is certainly going against that, and in my view, with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 being far more powerful consoles, third-party developers are more likely to benchmark their games for those systems in the future, which would probably result in even less multi-platform games making their way to the Wii U. While this all seems rather grim, or doom and gloom as I know many people like to refer to it as, Nintendo isn't simply taking this line down. The Wii U saw a good amount of exclusive games in the latter part of 2013, and most importantly, these were games made for gamers. Pikmin 3 and The Wonderful 101 kicked things off during the summer and early fall, continuing with one of the best HD remix games I've ever played, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD, which did help sell some systems with the Wind Waker bundle. And Nintendo closed out 2013 in a big way with Super Mario 3D World, a standout title in the most famous platforming series of all time, which topped many gamers' lists of the best games of 2013. But this end of the year lineup just wasn't enough to counteract the issues that came before it. And this brings us to today, where we know the Wii U is struggling. At this point, the conclusion I've drawn is that Nintendo needs to realize that the casual audience that made the original Wii such a success isn't gonna be here for the Wii U. And as I stated in my previous video, I believe Nintendo should shift their focus to attracting core gamers by giving them the games they're clamoring for, as well as creating ads that showcase the gaming experiences only Nintendo can provide. Also, as much as I wish it wasn't true, Nintendo can't do this all alone. Wii U does need better third-party support, and perhaps even second-party support. Now we know, in terms of games, Nintendo does have some heavy hitters planned for the Wii U later this year that are almost sure to boost sales, but for the system to really turn around, it will need to keep a high level of momentum even after those games are released. With that in mind, before I end this video, I'd like to discuss the path I hope Nintendo takes with the Wii U after the launch of games like Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. As far as Nintendo's own franchises, I don't think we necessarily need a bunch of new IPs. Rather, I'd like to see current IPs handled in different ways. One series in particular comes to mind. Since Pokemon's early days of Red and Blue, fans have been begging Nintendo to make a full-fledged Pokemon experience that they can play on their home consoles. But it just hasn't happened yet. The Wii U would be the perfect system for this. Being able to travel through a detailed world and experience Pokemon battles in full HD, with the gamepad providing you with quick access to your backpack and battle actions just like in the DS games, would be nothing short of an amazing experience. Throw on top of that some online battles, perhaps even with a 2v2 option, and you'd have a game almost certain to get the whole world buzzing about the Wii U. Third and second party development is a harder beast for Nintendo to tackle given the current state of the Wii U, so I suggest here that Nintendo should acknowledge their position and use it to their advantage when pursuing relationships with other developers. So what the hell does that mean? Well, Nintendo is obviously the major underdog in this new console generation, so why not make the Wii U the home for other underdogs? It's already being done with Bayonetta 2, a game that Platinum admitted would never have been possible without Nintendo. So look for more opportunities like that. As far as specific ones, well, when the dual screen technology of the Wii U was first shown off, I know many Nintendo fans mentioned it would be awesome if they made a new Pokemon Snap game for the Wii U. As I mentioned before, I'm a big survival horror fan, and myself and others like me had a different game in mind that also focuses on the use of a camera. If you want to talk about survival horror games, and I mean real survival horror games, not the action movie garbage that passes for it today, then you can't go wrong with Fatal Frame. Nintendo has worked with Tecmo Koei to bring iterations of the series to Nintendo platforms in the past, but they weren't really promoted and didn't always get a worldwide release. I think it would be awesome to see a classic, true-to-form Fatal Frame game like the original trilogy, with the added element of having to physically raise the gamepad as your camera and see the ghosts approaching right in front of your face. Now that would be terrifying. Well, that just about wraps it up for this video. Remember, if you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for future gaming content. Also, I still want to hear from you guys. What do you think about the Wii U's journey so far? Would you change anything? And how do you hope Nintendo handles the system in the future? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.